Good Wednesday morning, folks, and welcome to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. I'm Parker King. We've got a lot of news ahead of you. Much of the headlines happening since after midnight tonight. So while you were sleeping, and if you didn't tune into with us for Action News 5's morning show, we're going to go ahead and get to it. The most breaking news that we have right now is confirmation from the PGA Tour regarding the FedEx St. Jude Championship. The tour is confirmed with Action News 5 just an hour ago that Memphis is not in the picture for the tour's new championship series that begins in 2028. Now, you might remember that we originally reported a sort of up in the air scenario for Memphis with regard to the new restructuring for the PGA Tour. The tour confirmed on record that Memphis is not in consideration for the top tier championship series. So that's one of the two. There's the championship series and the challenger series. But the tour did say the city is, quote, well positioned to remain as part of the PGA Tour. So that leads us to believe we will be a part of the challenger series. Sources tell Action News 5 that the tour and FedEx are still discussing a possible challenger series event. FedEx has been the title sponsor of this event since 1986. And let me restart this video. FedEx says they're disappointed, but they remain committed to Memphis and St. Jude Children's Research Hospital regardless of what comes next. We've got the 2026 FedEx St. Jude Championship that's coming up next week. It starts teased next Thursday, and then they are contractually bound to 2027. So at the very least, we're going to have one more, not counting next week, we're going to have one more after this in 2027, a big championship series style golf tournament here in Memphis. But it looks like we'll be demoted to the Challenger Series. That means less prize money, less of the top golfers, if any, coming to Memphis for this tournament, and less eyes on Memphis as well. Probably less economic development or economic impact as well. So not great sports news for Memphis. And so moving on now, we've got a bit of a crazy circumstance that started in Tennessee and ended up in Arkansas. These are images that we've received from Truman Police Department in Truman, Arkansas. We've learned a high-speed pursuit ended with the arrest of a Tennessee murder suspect. These are some of the images, again, from Truman Police, and police tell us that 31-year-old LaMarcus Ross led officers on a chase last Friday, reaching speeds of 120 miles an hour before Arkansas State Police ended the pursuit just north of Truman. Ross was taken into custody after he flipped his car into a ditch. Investigators later discovered that he was wanted in Tennessee on several felony warrants, including first-degree murder. To Memphis, late last night, police responded to a deadly shooting in North Memphis. This is, as you just saw, the intersection of Faxon Avenue and Harold Street. This was just before 9 o'clock last night. They say a man was found dead at the scene, but no one has been detained. Jury's still out on a suspect or suspects. There's currently no one in custody, we've learned. But should anyone have knowledge of this shooting, you're asked to call, or you can text. You can text anonymously or call Memphis Crime Stoppers at 901-528-CASH. Police in Memphis are also investigating a fatal shooting in Midtown yesterday. This happened just before 11:15 yesterday morning off Roland Street near Lamar and Walker Avenue. Suspect is this man here, 21-year-old Ashton Williams. One neighbor in this neighborhood said he heard an argument between Williams and another man, which turned into a fist fight before the victim was shot, rushed to the hospital where he later died. Williams remains in custody, facing charges including voluntary manslaughter and theft of property. Again, detectives say they're still investigating. And it's obviously back to school season. More schools in the Mid-South are welcoming students for the first time this week today. 6 schools on your screen here are starting today. On your screen, Germantown, Collierville, Holly Springs, Mark Tree, Oxford City, Dyersburg City. And then tomorrow 6 more districts are going to go back, including Bartlett, Lakeland, Arlington, Wynne and Fayette County, Tunica County. Back to school season is in full swing. And it's not just back to school season, it is election season in Tennessee, with voters heading to the polls for state and federal primary races, along with county general elections and many other races in communities. Now, before you head out, a couple of things, guys. Make sure you know your assigned polling place. Bring a valid federal or Tennessee government issue photo ID. Expired IDs, believe it or not, are also accepted, but student IDs are not, FYI. Poll opening times vary by county in Tennessee, but they all close at 7 p.m. Anyone in line by closing time will be allowed to vote. Voters can look up their polling place and sample ballot through Go Vote TN or the app. And a note, guys, that Shelby County reported 90,000 early voters during the early voting period, which would be a record of recent memory, and that is great news. Election day, you're going to want to show out. 90,000 sounds like a lot, but there are more than 600,000 registered voters in Shelby County, so there's 500,000 of you out there who have still not voted, and we're looking to see what those numbers look like on Thursday, tomorrow, especially with the number of state-wide races, federal primaries, local races that we have, county governor here in Shelby County, county commissioners, there's some school board elections, judicial races as well. We had note of the voter mishap, the voter ballot mishap in Bartlett at that one voting machine that affected 300 ballots. Those were judicial races that were left off that ballot. So there are judicial races at stake here. So just important to note, guys, do your civic duty, get out and vote tomorrow. In other news, we're going to move on now to a development from yesterday. Sanitation workers in Memphis getting a significant pay raise, potentially. This still needs to go through the city council, but as of yesterday, there was an agreement between AFSCME Local Union 1733 and the mayor's office that would bump up baseline wages for Memphis sanitation workers to $22 an hour. Sanitation workers would also see a 5% salary jump. AFSCME union leaders say they'll need to make sure it has enough support to pass the Memphis City Council. The raises would take effect October 1st if it is approved by the City Council and Mayor Paul Young's office. Some tragic news out of Alcorn County. We learned about this last night. The Alcorn County Fire Services reported this fire early Monday morning at a poultry farm. It burnt down this barn that you see on your screen and killed an entire poultry flock. Fire was in the southwest area of the county, and by the time crews had arrived, it had already consumed a large part of this barn before responders arrived. Officials said it was a total loss. Very sad for that farm. Another news, guys, some very disturbing news out of DeSoto County, and I've just, for some reason, I don't know if we've just been covering it more, but it just feels like sexual predators have been on the rise in our area. Most recently noted by this man here. This is 38-year-old Joseph Marty, who owns a Byhalia Bounce business, which supplied party inflatables across DeSoto and Marshall counties. Marty now faces 2 counts of child sex crimes after a forensic interview and a child protection report of fondling. First Baptist of Olive Branch Church says Marty volunteered as a youth coach there. The church says they're trusting God and the investigation. Now, we reached out to Byhalia Bounce, but obviously did not get a response. Marty is out of jail now on a $150,000 bond. He's due back in court next month. Switching gears now to more news about voting. This is tomorrow. Be on the lookout for this. Primary election day in Tennessee. Local voting rights groups meeting today. Oh, excuse me, it's today, not tomorrow. This is the Shelby County election, Shelby County Democratic Party and the NAACP. They're teaming up following those reports that we brought you of voting machine glitches and problems with absentee ballots. So you can see on your screen, press conference set for 10 this morning. Organizers say their goal is to ensure election integrity and keep voters confident. We'll be streaming this press conference live on our website, actionnews5.com. Bringing you more coverage from a story we brought you yesterday. This is involving the latest FedEx project. Major changes coming to Memphis International Airport. FedEx filed a building permit on Monday for Project Hercules. We told you about this in January, but this is one of the first concrete steps we've seen in this project. This would be a 5-story automated sorting facility. It's going to sit right next to one of the sorting centers that's already there at the hub. It will expand the hub to more than 1.5 million square feet. It's like 1.6 million square feet. Total project cost is going to be $400 million. That is a pretty penny as FedEx modernizes its parcel sorting operations. Going to cap off your headlines with some sports news, starting with Ole Miss. Fans, you're probably excited to see where your team is ranked in the first major college football poll of the year. The Rebels, number 10 in the preseason coaches poll. That means pollsters believe Ole Miss is one of the teams that could be in this year's college football playoff like they were last year. I got a sigh of relief reading this next sentence. We are just over a month away from the start of the season for the Rebels when they play the University of Louisville in Nashville. And not only that, guys, but football is back. Thursday, tomorrow, we've got the Hall of Fame game in Canton. And preseason football, college football. Excuse me. I'm losing my voice, by the way. Something going around. It's probably the weather. I'll blame Patrick. But man, bear with me. We've got some more sports news, if I can make it. And it's right here in Memphis. Women's soccer team. I honestly find this insulting, considering how awesome these lady soccer players were last year. But nevertheless, preseason poll ranks them number 21. They'll match that energy and then surpass it. Memphis takes to the pitch for the first time today during an exhibition match with Mississippi State in Starkville. Guys, I'm fading here, and we're only 15 minutes into the digital desk, but we will endure. We will survive. But you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go to break. I'm going to clear my throat because we got a full show for you guys. We've got 3 interviews today. We've got Bartlett Mayor David Parsons at 9:30. Then at 10 o'clock, we've got a catch up with our friend Jalen Suchak with the I Love Memphis blog. And then at 10:30, we have a coincidental interview with Ask Me Local 1733. We had originally set this interview up before what was supposed to be a rally yesterday outside of Memphis City Hall. And then, of course, we gave you the news about the tentative agreement with Paul Young's office, Memphis City Mayor Paul Young's office, about a tentative raise for sanitation workers, members of the ASME union. So we're going to be talking about those conversations, what they looked like, and what is needed as far as steps are concerned to bring a majority of city council on board to pass this in terms of a raise for sanitation workers, ASME members. So full show. We're going to go to break. I'm going to clear my throat. When we come back, hopefully we've got a first look at weather so we can all collectively blame Patrick for this turmoil it's causing my throat. More Action News 5 Digital Desk after the break, guys. Stay with us.
Thanks for joining us here on the Action News 5 Digital Desk. I'm First Alert meteorologist Patrick Ellis. A reminder, we have an air quality alert effect for the metro area, including Crittenden, Shelby, and DeSoto counties here because of wildfire smoke that is drifting in our direction. As we look at our First Alert Futurecast with the smoke model in play, you see the higher concentrations here as you start getting into the oranges and reds. That is working its way in our direction. So we'll start to see a little bit more haze in the skies, a little bit more of a filtered sun look as we head through the course of the day today, and that again leading to more issues with air quality. So those with breathing sensitivities and difficulties probably want to stay away from being outside for prolonged periods of time. The good news is that while we still will have some indications of smoke in play for even tomorrow, it won't be to the same concentrations as what we will see for today. So at least there is some positivity in that direction as far as that's concerned. Hot, humid, and hazy here today, but the good news is that the humidity isn't terrible. When we look at our First Alert Futurecast going through the remainder of the day, low 90s will operate like the mid 90s. So not adding too much insult to injury when it comes down to the feels like temperatures as we go through the course of the day today. 94 tomorrow as several more districts head back to classes. Bartlett, Arlington, Lakeland, Wynne, Tunica County, as well as Blytheville, all getting into low to mid 90s. Factor in the humidity levels, it's probably going to crest closer to about 105 or so, or 100 to 105 in a couple spots here as we head through the afternoon hours on your Thursday. Chance for a couple of isolated showers, rumbles of thunder could be on the way by Friday. 94 the high temperature. Here's a look at our First Alert Futurecast. Starting off on a quiet note here. Not much going on. Sunshine. There will be some showers and storms that could be ongoing up closer to the Missouri-Arkansas border, drifting down towards the south and east as we head through the mid to late morning hours. So places like Blytheville over towards Harrisburg, Wynne might be able to see a shower or two during the course of the mid-morning hours. Out ahead of it, a couple more spotty downpours developing during the course of the late morning, early afternoon hours that will be on a basis that will be widely spaced. So many spots will likely stay dry during the course of the afternoon and early evening. Now, there could be another opportunity for rain and storms that comes in here by the time we head towards your Saturday. We'll be watching that closely because that could have another implication for some widely spaced showers and storms. Not everybody finding themselves getting wet during that time frame, but at least a chance for a few showers and storms during the course of the afternoon and early evening hours on Saturday. Then the heat and humidity become more pressing here. We head into early next week. A lot of spots will be seeing temperatures at or above average for this time of the year. The average high 92. We will start the process in the next week or so of being on the downward slope on temperatures. The average highs will start to come down. The average lows start to come down. We're getting closer to that time frame of the year where we start to go on the backside of the year. But right now, still at a plateau, and it really doesn't change all that much. You can kind of see how that plays out with the extended forecast because there's not a lot of change with the highs and lows. In lower to middle 90s each day, overnights middle to upper 70s, and some spots feels like temperatures as we head towards early next week are going to be quite toasty. Look ahead to next Tuesday, 94 the forecast high, but when you factor in the humidity levels, it's going to be cresting closer to 105 to 115 in some parts of the region. There is a inkling of a front moving towards the region by Wednesday into Thursday. Might reset us a little bit. We'll see how it plays out, but still a little too far out to get too much in the way of specifics. In the meantime, though, hot, humid, hazy here today. A chance for a couple of showers and storms to head into parts of the weekend, but not a complete washout on Friday or Saturday.
We've got a topic coming up in an interview that I think most people can relate to, right? It is summer, of course, and it is getting extremely hot outside. Even if you're outside for just a few minutes, you just feel how toasty it can get. And of course, with the rising temperatures, it's important to know how to stay safe when those temperatures do climb. And joining us now from Regional One Hospital is Dr. Anna Yang. She's here to help us separate the normal, it's hot outside that we could be experiencing with when we may need to, take things more serious, any signs and things of that nature. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Happy to be here.
All right, so first, let's talk about, in general, heat-related illness, right? We talk or we hear about that word often. Can you explain what that is and how we may know that something may be a little more serious?
Yeah, so there's a whole range of heat-related illness. I mean, we have things, as minor as just some, very mild dehydration and feeling warm to, heat exhaustion being, more significant warning signs from the body that this needs to be taken care of quickly. And then all the way down to the most severe with heat stroke, where somebody's body can no longer compensate for the heat outside. And it's gotten to the point where it's affected their brain function and their ability to think and mentally function at all. So there's a huge range of different things.
Absolutely. And Dr. Yang, I want to apologize. I want to take a step back and rewind. Tell us exactly your title and what your everyday work is at Regional One Health.
Yeah, no problem. I am an emergency medicine physician and also a family medicine physician as well.
Okay, so I imagine you see a lot of things, especially when it comes to this topic. Have you started to see any heat-related illnesses, or is it still a little too early in the summer for that? What are you seeing right now?
No, it's definitely not too early. I mean, the weather's kind of been fluctuating lately, and so what we've been seeing has also been fluctuating. But definitely with the more extreme temperatures, we are seeing a lot of heat-related problems and symptoms. Most of them, fortunately, have been minor and fairly straightforward and simple to correct, and they've generally done really well. But there have been some cases where it has not been so straightforward, and there have been some pretty significant heat-related injuries as well. But the temperature alone doesn't account for it too, right? If the temperature is high and not necessarily extreme, but what the person's been doing is prolonged exposure, or they're at higher risk, or they're doing some intense activity, you can get heat-related, pretty significant heat-related illnesses too, even when the weather isn't necessarily, that temperature number isn't necessarily that high.
No, for sure. That's a good point. Can you talk about who's most at risk? I would imagine it, impacts everybody, but I'm sure there are some people or different groups that kind of could be more susceptible to this sort of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. So the typical, young, healthy adult with no major medical conditions generally do really well as long as you listen to the, signs and symptoms of your body. Get inside when you feel like it, making sure, you're staying protected with your skin and staying hydrated. Most of the time, those things are adequate for your, regular, normal, healthy adult person. However, very young people and older people as well don't have that ability in their bodies necessarily to protect themselves or regulate their own bodies. Internally, it's generally the hypothalamus portion of the brain that regulates temperature. And so when we feel hot, when our body receives that signal that the temperature is rising, we sweat, we are able to get our blood vessels dilate to try to release some of that heat. And for the most part, that's a great, cooling mechanism. But, older people and the very young have a difficult time doing that. On the other side of it too, we have, our homeless population and also those with mental health illnesses as well. And if they're either unable to get somewhere cool or unable to have access to, hydration or skin protection methods, or just can't mentally figure out how to do these things or don't know to do those things, these people are at very high risk as well.
Absolutely. For me, you mentioned children. as well. I'm a mom. I have a 1-year-old and a 4-year-old. And I think about the car seat in the back seat and how hot it gets. And even if you have, a newer car, sometimes there's not vents in the back. And so anyway, I'm thinking about how I can keep my kids safe and whether we're in the car or outside playing on the playground. I know staying hydrated is important. How much water is enough? And what are some other things we can kind of do to making sure that we're cooling ourselves off or, just staying hydrated?
Yeah, so there are a lot of numbers floating around out there on how much water somebody should drink. Some of them are weight based, but I think the most important thing is to listen to your body. So, before you go outside, make sure you're preparing for that and already starting the hydration process so that you get ahead of it. But definitely any signs of, dry mouth, your urine is darker, or, you just feel more tired, or, even a little bit lightheaded. Those are already signs that you're in kind of the mild dehydration phase. And so you really need to get ahead of the water. And in general, water is sufficient unless somebody is heavily sweating and losing a lot of electrolytes really quickly. And in that case, some of those electrolyte drinks can help improve the efficiency of rehydration.
And at what point does somebody know, okay, hey, I recognize signs, I need to take a step back, drink more water, get in the shade, versus I need to go to the emergency room and see a Dr. Yang, for example? What are the differences? How do we know when it's getting a little more extreme?
Yeah, so for the most part, heat exhaustion is something that can be managed, sometimes with the help of, friends and family. But most of the time, your usual dehydration, feeling unwell, heat exhaustion can be managed without a trip to the emergency room. That includes things like, getting to a cool location as quickly as possible. Evaporative cooling is very effective. So if in addition to the sweat you're already producing, spraying someone with water and then getting them in front of a fan, that kind of evaporation effect is great for cooling. Putting ice packs in areas that have kind of blood vessels that come right up to the skin to help your internal body release some of that heat. So areas like the armpits or the groin or the neck or even the wrists are really great for that as well. So most of the time after this, drinking water, remaining in that cool environment for a while, people feel significantly better and can go back to their, normal day. But if that isn't working, then that's the time to go and get some help. Or if it's so severe to the point where somebody's confused, not acting quite right, they seem kind of out of it, maybe they're hallucinating even, something's mentally wrong, then definitely get them straight to the ER at that point.
And before I let you go, are there any, heat safety or heat related myths that you wish people would stop believing or may not be as true as we hear about or think?
I mean, I think the most common thing we hear about is just that somebody thought it just couldn't happen to them, right? They're fine. They're a healthy person, so couldn't possibly happen to me. And not preparing for it and not thinking about it is usually when people get into trouble. But as long as you do think about it and prepare for it, and it's a head to toe process. It's not just making sure you have water, but also dressing appropriately, having a wide brimmed hat, wearing loose light clothing, good breathable footwear, socks, sunscreen. I mean, all sorts of things all play into preventing heat related injuries. And as long as you think about those things and, don't assume that just because you're baseline healthy doesn't mean this couldn't possibly happen to you. As long as you protect yourself, most people will do just fine.
Awesome. Very important and timely tips, Dr. Yang. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. And things are only going to get hotter from here. Let's be honest. We live in the Mid-South, right? So
Yep.
thank you for these.
And the
tips. We
humidity,
appreciate
that adds to
Oh,
it for sure.
I know it. It is brutal out there. We appreciate you. Thank you so much. And hopefully we'll talk to you again soon, sometime this summer.
Sounds
Thank
good.
you so much.
Yeah,
All
sounds
right.
great.
Some more right there.
Well, Morning, Mayor.
How you seeing it?
You all right, sir?
You talk to me.
Yes, sir. Parker?
Fantastic. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm ready when you are, brother.
All right. We are 40 seconds at a break. I'll, of course, introduce you, though you don't need an introduction.
I don't know about that.
Nope. Got
how's
all
your
your
summer
events
going?
up?
Yes, sir.
Oh, it's going good. Going good. No, we've got our work cut out for us today. Hate to see that FedEx news, but that's how the cookie crumbles, I guess.
I didn't even see the news this morning.
Well, the PGA Tour just announced that it's no longer going to be a major stop.
But did they cancel a bunch of them or just us?
They not necessarily canceled. They restructured a bunch of stuff. So they've got two different tournament series now. And so Memphis, we were kind of treated as like one of the top tier. So now we're getting sort of a demotion to a more of a semi-pro, if you want to look at it like baseball, like a semi-pro style tournament. But
That's sad.
it is sad, but we shall endure, I guess. So, all right, sir,
That's
we're
what we
almost
do.
out. Yes, sir, we're almost out, and then I'm coming to you. All right, guys, thanks for staying with us on the Action News 5 digital desk. As you well know, we have our regularly scheduled meetings monthly with the mayors of our suburban communities, and one of them is none other than Bartlett's mayor, David Parsons, joining us once again to give us a bit of insight in this early point in August. We've got school with Bartlett City Schools starting back tomorrow. We've got a few Bartlett folks in this station who are excited about that, especially Patrick Ellis. You know, he talks about the Mid-South's nephew getting ready for school, but some exciting events for everyone, not just students in Bartlett, getting ready to kick off the month of August. So, Mayor, first and foremost, good morning. Welcome back. It's always good to see you. How are things going over there in Bartlett?
Going very well. Thank you, Parker. Good to see you again.
Fantastic.
Well, you know, it's a big deal. A lot of folks happy, a lot of folks sad about school starting tomorrow, but we just need to watch out for those kids, those buses. And so the roads will be a little bit busier tomorrow, but kind of unique around here. The year just seems to be flying by. Parker, we're having our final Food Truck Friday of the year tomorrow, tomorrow. And
that is crazy.
And it will be at Freeman Park, which is at 2629 Bartlett Boulevard from 11 to 12. There'll be tons of food. We'll have barbecue, Japanese food, tacos, sweet treats, fries, and more. So come on out there and enjoy the last Food Truck Friday of the year. And then come back Saturday morning. And we still have the farmers market going on. It happens every Saturday, same place, Freeman Park. And it runs from 8 through noon and through the month of September. There's veggies, fruits, meats, baked goods, crafts, snacks, and they're all on hand every weekend. And then the last weekend, we have a huge crowd at Bartlett for the live music series with Twin Soul. This past weekend, we had a huge crowd, Parker. It was phenomenal last weekend. And then on the last weekend, we'll have the Park Hillbillies playing those country outlaw songs and picking hillbilly tunes at Freeman Park. That'll be from 7 to 9. The food trucks are there an hour early, and they start at 6. So get there early. And to get to one of those good spots to camp out, bring your kids, bring your dog, bring your cooler, and spend another cool evening with us at Freeman Park at our Music Live. And then we have another little unique deal called the Small Fry Tries coming up on Saturday, August the 22nd at Freeman Park. This is for kids from 2 to 6 years old. And where they can run, ride, splash through all the cutest little triathlon little deals there. It's funny. You laugh and have so much fun just watching all your kids and your grandkids do there. You get all the info of that on our Bartlett Parks and our Rec Facebook page. And on Saturday night, August the 29th, Bartlett's Live's back with the evening of the 90s. and turn the century back by some awesome new band called Business Casual. Once again, the music is free. It's from 7 to 9. Food trucks again get there at 6. So again, get there early, get you a spot, put your blanket out in the grass, and just enjoy another great evening.
And
So,
enjoy some of the incredible weather that we've had. I mean, it's
Oh,
been
man.
unseasonably cool. I mean, this past weekend was nothing short of a tease for fall. I mean, I have to imagine that was just a great time in Bartlett over the weekend.
We actually seen some folks with sweaters on last Saturday, but it was cool. It makes you look forward to the fall coming.
No, it certainly does. School's starting back, getting ready for some Friday night lights once it cools down a little bit. But the Bartlett Live I've seen it on social media. I've not had a chance to get out there yet, but it's just looked like an absolute hit. You get the food trucks out there. I mean, it is a full-on event, a way to enjoy the outdoors, especially when the sun starts to set. We've had some pretty hot days these last couple of weeks. A little reprieve this last week, but it's been a good summer in Bartlett, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I mean we have hot days, but at least we're getting a cycle of the up and downs and the ebbs and the flows, and makes you think ahead about football season and the fall coming ahead.
I know we just saw the preseason rankings for college football. Ole Miss fans are top 10. If you went to Mississippi State like me, it makes you cringe, but it also gets you excited for some college football. Women's soccer, Memphis women's soccer, they had a great season last year. They kick off a little exhibition tonight at Mississippi State in Starkville. So glad to see soccer's coming back. And then all those high school sports that are coming back. We've got some great high school athletics here in Shelby County. So it's a nice little introduction, school getting back. We're kind of closing out the summer, but with Bartlett's events, I think you structure that strategically is that you start to close out these summer events like Food Truck Friday, and then you get into the fall events as we get into that with Bartlett. So I love it. I love to see that it's been a success. I love to see everybody's been enjoying a good time. We had a bang-up July. With 4th of July and so on, fishing rodeos. And so now it's time to get into the fall, and the weather's just been a nice little introduction to that. Glad everything's going good, Mayor.
Yeah, we are too. And Parker, for the hillbillies that we got coming, I'm going to bring a yard chair for you.
Okay. All right. Count on that. Let's see. When the Hillbillies, they're coming August 15th.
Yep.
The Park
Yep,
Hillbillies.
Hillbillies.
All
Yep.
right.
And
I've got the
band.
flyer right here.
And we're gonna save you a chair, brother.
Okay. I'll have my people call your people.
Okay.
We'll get out there with the park chair. That sounds good. All right. Well, Mayor, I mean, we've had a great. You did a whole rundown. You took all my questions. I love when things are short and sweet. When we let know what's happening in Bartlett. Anything else on the radar here for the city of Bartlett? Any teasers to September? Anything we can be on the lookout for?
Well, we're all looking forward to our Fall Fest, which is the last September 31, I think October 1 and 2. But the Fall Fest is going to be pretty phenomenal this year. We got quite a few things in our handbook on that one. And one of the good things that's happening this year, we've been doing just a backyard barbecue. This year we're going to have a championship barbecue and a backyard barbecue. We'll have 2 barbecue cooking contests going on at the same time. It's going to be phenomenal. We got a great lineup on singers, a lot of vendors there. It's one of those things we just talking about. It's what everybody looks forward to, football and festivals in the fall.
Now, I do have one more question because you're saying that all this information you can find on the Bartlett website, Bartlett social media. Have we lost the interns? Are the social media interns back in school now?
Well, yeah, but we've got some replacements there, so we're still in pretty good shape.
Well, that's
But,
good.
we
I
had
mean, because I've told you, man, those interns, those social media interns, whether it's police, fire, the city, they have been a riot this summer. And I mean that as a compliment. They have been incredible. It's been a great way to engage with not just the media, but the people. I mean, it's been a very entertaining summer, and I'm glad to see that you got some replacements. You're able to keep the momentum going with that. So, yeah, you'll be able to find that info on the social media pages for City of Bartlett as well as their website. Good stuff, Mayor. Glad to hear they're still there.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, sir. Well, you've heard it all. He did a full rundown. This will obviously be on our website, actionnews5.com. And as always, it is a great month when we can have David Parsons on to give us a look into the next month of events with the city of Bartlett. And so I've got that marked down August 15th for the Hillbillies. And you save me that lawn chair, and we'll be there. Sounds good, Mayor.
Thank you, Parker. Appreciate you.
You're welcome, sir. Take care. Love our mayoral. Gosh, I wish we had him on Monday. Mayoral Mondays. That'd be fun. But anyway, nevertheless, great time with David Parsons. We had Maureen Fraser last week. We'll have Mike Palazzolo from the city of Germantown coming up. And so a great way to catch up with what's happening in our suburbs, and a great way for you to find out what's happening a place that might be outside of your community. You see something you like with the city of Bartlett, you're able to get some dates and fill out your schedule and your calendar and get on there. So like I said, guys, a full show. Thanks again to Mayor Parsons. We've got another interview coming up at 10 o'clock with the I Love Memphis blog. So we talked about Bartlett events. Now we're going to get to some Memphis events at the top of the hour for 10 o'clock, guys. But that's all coming up at 10 o'clock. We're going to go to a quick break. We'll be right back with some more of your headlines, guys. Stay tuned. Awesome. Thanks again, Mayor. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. Appreciate you. We enjoy this every month.
Awesome. We do too, sir. We'll see you next time.
Yes, sir. Take care.
You take care. We're getting ready to welcome our friends from the Memphis International Airport. They are going to be having their second annual Runway 5K. I mean, if anything, a very picturesque event and a very unique event. How many of you get to say you ran a race on the tarmac of an international airport? But you don't have to hear it from me. You get to hear it from our friend Mia Harvey from Memphis International, who's sort of spearheading the organization for this second annual event. First off, Mia, good morning. We're happy to have you to talk more about this event and help promote it. Some healthy living here in Memphis in the Mid-South. First off, good morning. What's going to be new, or is it going to be we did perfect the first time, we're going to go again and see if we can recreate the success we saw? We're just excited. We're excited to have you on and excited to promote this event. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you again for having us. We are super excited. So now that you're hearing that it's a second annual, so obviously the first one went just great. So we are excited to bring it back September 19th this year. We are expanding how many registrants we'll have available this year. First year we tried to cap it around 1,000. Well, we kept moving up. So let me say this: when we first started to plan it last year, we were like, "Oh, we'll be good if we get like 300 people to participate." Then we got to 300. Then we're like, "Okay, well let's go to 500." Then we got 500 people to sign up. So then we were like, "Okay, well let's go for 750." We got 750 people to sign up. And so we said 1,000, and we got to about 983. So we're here to be able to have cap at about 2,000. And so if you're interested, I would say go ahead and start signing up now.
That's incredible. And so that's part of the reason why we're having you on. Registration is open. We had the early bird registration. Now it's just the regular window is open. It's in September, so we've got some time to work with. But I mean, as you were saying, I mean, those spots are filling up quickly. Was that shocking for you to see? Because I mean, any inaugural event, you're never really sure, is this going to hit off to a great success? But you just kept expanding the cap, and you hit 1,000 last year. Like, let's not bite off more than we can chew. Let's make sure first and foremost we can handle this. But to practically double the cap, was that surprising for you?
It was a little surprising. We figured that would be a few years down the road. There's a few other airports, not necessarily close here, but that do the same sort of event. So the Miami airport does it. The the Charlotte airport does it. Atlanta airport does it. And so we figured that it would take us a few years to kind of get to those big numbers. But for us to knock it out the park the first year, we're super excited to be able to do that. And so we are definitely there were some lessons learned, but it went off without a kick. We heard a lot of people that loved the event. Surprisingly, some people said that they did not hear about it. So, we're really appreciative for you guys to be able to help us to spread the word that this is such a cool event. And again, as you said before, who would have thought, or who can say that they were able to run on a runway where actually you'll see planes taking off. You'll get able to run under a 777 airplane. We'll also have some other kind of airplanes out as well. So we're super excited about this year.
Yeah, we're showing video from last year. You saw our Jerry Askin. He was one of the MCs. He's a big runner, ran it himself. And it's not one of those situations where you say, oh yeah, it's at the Memphis International Airport and maybe it's in the parking lot. It's like we're showing imagery now. Like we're on the tarmac. We're running underneath one of the FedEx 747s. I mean, it's one of those unique events that honestly adds to a little bit of the enticement. It's not just some trail through a neighborhood. It's like, hey, you want to come run on the tarmac at Memphis International? Let's do it. I mean, how long is the tarmac? Is this a straight line from one end to the other? I mean, it wouldn't shock me if I have terrible depth perception. So if you were to tell me that was the equivalent of a 5K, I'd believe you. But what does our course look like? Are we running in a straight line and then down and back? What are runners going to be able to see when they come and they start from the starting line and into the finish line?
So I've heard a lot from the runners that this was actually one of the best courses because it was flat.
No way.
You have a small incline when you first start, and then really it's just think of it. We won't want an airplane going like this. So it's a really cool flat surface. You kind of do a roundabout, and then you circle back to our to the start finish lines in the same area. So super flat area, and like I said, runners, or the feedback that we got last year is that this was one of the best areas to run strictly because of how the surface was. So, and also I just want to bring up that this is a great opportunity, or a lot of people don't know that the airport, we have a 501c3. So it's called the Memphis International Airport Foundation. And so we do a lot of great things in the community. And so the proceeds from this race is what goes to that foundation, where we're able to expand, get middle school and high school students and even college students interested in careers in aviation. We want to strengthen our talent pipeline here in Memphis. We also have an annual art program that this foundation supports, and other community initiatives in the area.
That's great. And you're 2 steps ahead of me, because that was my next question. Obviously, registration has a fee to it, but what is it going toward? Well, it's going to that 501c3 that you mentioned, the art project, helping try and promote aviation, getting students involved in those programs. We've got a few in the area. I know Delta State down in the Delta, they've kind of got a pipeline up here to FedEx. U of M's got kind of a fledgling aviation program, commercial aviation program they're trying to build up a little bit. So it's great that in a place like Memphis where we have FedEx, we'd love to have some locally grown pilots, and this is just one of the ways to try and promote that. So great stuff you're doing in the community.
I'm sorry,
go ahead.
Also, we the careers in aviation is not always the ones we want to expose them to, are not necessarily just like the pilots here, but also we have painters that we expose the careers to as well. And so the painters make sure that all of the markings on the runway with a special reflective paint are in federal guidelines. We have electricians here. We have mechanics who work on they don't necessarily work on airplanes, but work on any vehicles that help to support the operations here at the airport. We have operations duty managers that make sure that the runways are clear and safe and in regulation. So those are some of the careers. We have a K9 unit. We have our own police force here. And so those behind the scenes aviation careers are the ones we really want to connect students to as well. And again, those are middle school students and high school students. We have a program called MemSOAR, and so that is particular to that age group. And we also, one of the schools that we support right here in the community is the Oak Haven Community Schools as well.
MemSOAR, I love that. Thank you for cutting me off, because that is so important. Because I mean, it's those behind the scenes jobs that people don't traditionally associate with the aviation industry. But the folks who paint the runways, we need safe runways for the planes to land, obviously, and there are people who paint the stripes on there. And I've got actually family who are mechanics over at the hub. So, I mean, those are important jobs. You need the planes to work. I've got one friend that works at the new de-icing facility. So, so many different, I mean, like, you know, I got some connects over at the airport, but but you're right. It's those behind the, and it's so important to open that up to students at a young age in high school through MIMSOR and let them know that, hey, you know, these are careers that, you know, the flight industry, especially FedEx, you know, it's sustainable, if you will. So, you know, a stable career there. So, so all of that coming from proceeds in part from this Runway 5K. Where are we now? I know registration just opened up, but are you able to see how many spots we have left? I'd hate to promote this and say, now we're already tapped out at 2,000. So where are we right now? Are you able to see?
We're good. We're at about 500. We do know that as we get closer to the race, people will start signing up. I will say, don't wait till the last minute. Like, we are, again, and one reason why we have to cap is because, as you can imagine, running in an airport, one of the most secure places. There's a lot of security clearance that has to go on before you can actually come in this area. And so that is one of the big reasons why we have to, have everyone signed up prior to the race. So I do want to stress that there is no day of sign up. And again, that is because we have to have special security clearance because of where the race is actually located on the runway.
Very important stuff. Okay, so last questions is sort of the logistics. So don't wait till the last day, but where can folks find sign-up information? How much is registration? What is probably the latest? When's the cutoff date for registration? I think there is a cutoff date so that you don't have those last day sign-ups. So last we'll get to is logistical information. Go right ahead.
Yeah, so you can find information on our website, www.flymemphis.com, and you'll see the Runway 5K kind of button at the top of the website. The last day to sign up is September 13th. Again, we have to get everyone's names in, who will be running, date of birth, all of those things. Another big thing is to make sure that everyone brings their ID day of, because those will be a check-in if you're signing up. Again, we've got a few spots available. Also, if anyone is interested in being a corporate sponsor, that would be an awesome opportunity as well. You do get a few registrations depending on what level you sign up for. So that's an awesome opportunity to get involved. Again, the proceeds go to a great cause here. We're really doing some great work behind the scenes here in Memphis and the surrounding community, and we will love to keep this pushing. The biggest thing is that you can find the cost, you can sign up. So we're about $45 now. Since the early bird special is over, if you have a stroller, you want to bring your kids, that'll be available as well. We'll have a few little smaller airplanes that you can go and view as well. We've got the Tennessee National Guard is going to help out, and of course our Purple Promise partners next door, FedEx. They're such a awesome team to work with, and they'll be providing the big planes for us as well.
Fantastic. All right, Mia Harvey with Memphis International. Thanks so much for coming on. We're personally excited. I know Jerry's going to be running in it again. I mentioned it off camera. I'm going to sign up. Like, very excited. Hopefully the weather's perfect. September seems like that prime running weather. If it cools off just a little bit and gives us sort of that intro into fall. Very excited again to help you promote it, and we hope folks will go on the website and fill that cap out again. Maybe we, make that a precedent. We'll just add 1,000 more for the next year and make it a success for MIMSOR and all the other nonprofits and benefits that Memphis International does in the community. Thanks again for coming on.
Thanks, Parker. Sounds like you want to be an MC as well, so I'll get with you after.
For joining us here on the Action News 5 Digital Desk, I'm First Alert meteorologist Patrick Ellis. A reminder, we have an air quality alert effect for the metro area, including Crittenden, Shelby, and DeSoto counties here. Because of wildfire smoke that is drifting in our direction, as we look at our First Alert Futurecast with the smoke model in play, you see the higher concentrations here as you start getting into the oranges and reds. That is working its way in our direction. So we'll start to see a little bit more haze in the skies, a little bit more of a filtered sun look as we head through the course of the day today, and that again leading to more issues with air quality. So those with breathing sensitivities and difficulties probably want to stay away from being outside for prolonged periods of time. The good news is that while we still will have some indications of smoke in play for even tomorrow, it won't be to the same concentrations as what we will see for today. So at least there is some positivity in that direction as far as that's concerned. Hot, humid, and hazy here today, but the good news is that the humidity isn't terrible. When we look at our First Alert Futurecast going through the remainder of the day, low 90s will operate like the mid 90s. So not adding too much insult to injury when it comes down to the feels like temperatures as we go through the course of the day today. 94 tomorrow as several more districts head back to classes. Bartlett, Arlington, Lakeland, Wynne, Tunica County, as well as Blytheville, all getting into low to mid 90s. Factor in the humidity levels, it's probably going to crest closer to about 105 or so, or 100 to 105 in a couple of spots here as we head through the afternoon hours on your Thursday. Chance for a couple of isolated showers, rumbles of thunder could be on the way by Friday. 94 the high temperature. Here's a look at our First Alert Futurecast. Starting off on a quiet note here. Not much going on. Sunshine. There will be some showers and storms that could be ongoing up closer to the Missouri-Arkansas border, drifting down towards the south and east as we head through the mid to late morning hours. So places like Blytheville over towards Harrisburg, Wynne might be able to see a shower or two during the course of the mid-morning hours. Out ahead of it, a couple more spotty downpours developing during the course of the late morning, early afternoon hours that will be on a basis that will be widely spaced. So many spots will likely stay dry during the course of the afternoon and early evening. Now, there could be another opportunity for rain and storms that comes in here by the time we head towards your Saturday. We'll be watching that closely because that could have another implication for some widely spaced showers and storms. Not everybody finding themselves getting wet during that time frame, but at least a chance for a few showers and storms during the course of the afternoon and early evening hours on Saturday. Then the heat and humidity become more pressing here. We head into early next week. A lot of spots will be seeing temperatures at or above average for this time of the year. The average high 92. We will start the process in the next week or so of being on the downward slope on temperatures. The average highs will start to come down. The average lows start to come down. We're getting closer to that time frame of the year where we start to go on the backside of the year. But right now, still at a plateau, and it really doesn't change all that much. You can kind of see how that plays out with the extended forecast because there's not a lot of change with the highs and lows. In lower to middle 90s each day, overnights middle to upper 70s, and some spots feels like temperatures as we head towards early next week are going to be quite toasty. Look ahead to next Tuesday, 94 the forecast high, but when you factor in the humidity levels, it's going to be cresting closer to 105 to 115 in some parts of the region. There is a inkling of a front moving towards the region by Wednesday into Thursday. Might reset us a little bit. We'll see how it plays out, but still a little too far out to get too much in the way of specifics. In the meantime, though, hot, humid, hazy here today. A chance for a couple of showers and storms to head into parts of the weekend, but not a complete washout on Friday or Saturday.
What's up, Kim? How you know? Kim with a Y.
Good morning.
Morning.
How are ya?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm well. I meant
How's it
to-
been back now? Gosh, has it been, how many months have you been back now?
Oh, let's see. They all run together now.
That's the eyes
April,
of
May,
big backs.
June, July, August.
Already?
5 months. 5 months.
Oh my God.
Can
That's
you believe
crazy.
it? It flies.
Oh,
I meant to wave at you. I saw you at the Orpheum at Suffs.
oh yeah, yeah.
I was like, oh
Did
my
you get the
gosh.
media? Are you back on the media tickets?
Oh gosh, yeah. Well, it's just I had seen one of the interviews, and I was like, that looks like a lot of fun. And so we do like the drawings, and I'm like, I will put my name in the hat. And then they're like, you won. I'm like, yes. But it was also, I think that's going to be my wife and I's last date night before we have baby number 3, so it was like, all right.
Oh my
we
God, I
need
didn't
to-
know baby 3 was on the way.
Baby, few people.
Congrats.
It's like with every kid. It's like the more you have, the less you get all the pomp and circumstance. It's like, all right, we're having a 3rd kid. So, but
Building an army. When's the due date?
hey, we've got a starting 5 now with this little guy. So yeah, it's a boy. Tentatively due late August, early September. So, so yeah, less than T-minus 1 month. So here we go. And also here we go. We are 10 seconds out.
All right.
I got some stuff pulled up. We got a lot to talk about.
Yeah, always.
Here we go. All right, guys, welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. Another situation where we have our monthly visit. We just had Bartlett Mayor David Parsons to talk about what's happening in Bartlett. And now for the city of Memphis, we've got a couple of Memphis events, and you get to hear it from the brains of the operation behind the I Love Memphis blog. It is our friend, Jalen Suchak. First off, good morning. We just talked off camera about SUFS. You know, we just had this is already passed, but we've been doing some interviews on SUFS at the Orpheum. I loved it. I thought it was an incredible show, a new show, Tony-winning show coming to Memphis. What were your thoughts?
It exceeded all of my expectations too.
Right?
Like I kind of went in a little bit blind to it, but it was just so good to me. And for like being an original story, and
Yes.
you never know how like it's gonna pay off when you add like the music into like a historical element. Will it work? Is it gonna come off cheesy? I learned so much that I was kind of embarrassed. I'm like, what, did I miss that day in history about when learning about all these suffragettes?
Because obviously we know about Ida B. Wells, we knew about
Yeah.
her participation, but not just that, like establishing the NAACP, her newspaper right here in Memphis, but all of these other names that played such an integral part. I'm like you, I'm just like, oh my gosh, like I had no idea.
Yeah, I think
Like, the
everyone can pull out Ida B. Well and like Susan B. Anthony, who like predates
Yeah.
this time so much. But I thought it was so good, and I think it's exciting that the Orpheum is bringing in these kind of limited run shows. Like I don't know if you guys
Right.
missed or if you'd heard it too, but they added 3 more shows to their next
Yes.
season like this, where so SUFS had a limited run and they added 3 more. So again, take these opportunities when they have. They're only in for a weekend, but the SUFS show did not disappoint. So I
Yeah.
have high hopes for the new
SUFS
3
was
ones
great.
added to the next season.
And folks, as Jalen continues to come on this show, we'll continue to beat the drum of what's happening at the Orpheum. That might just me being a former theater kid, but I mean, this is a great asset that we have in downtown Memphis that brings in like top level Broadway level performances, Tony-winning performances. We've got to support that place and make sure that we can continue to have that stuff come in. But that's for another time as we get introduced to the upcoming Orpheum season. We've got a few things coming. I want to start. We just got the breaking news that in 2028, PGA Tour will no longer be treating TPC Southwind Memphis as a premier championship series PGA Tour stop. Nevertheless, folks, next week, 2027, it's still going to be what we've seen the last 3 years, which is top-level golf, top-level event, PGA Tour nationally televised event. So if anything, this is going to be at a premier, what is it, supply and demand? Short supply for the moment. But this upcoming one, I was on the TPC Southwind with Robert Miller. He gave us a little tour. Like, this is going to be a big event. And the best part is, and I know you can speak to this, the Grounds Plus package, like $99 a ticket with free concessions and free entrance for kids 15 and under, 2 per ticket holder. I mean, that's a deal to be able to see this level of golf. But I'm going to let you talk about that so I don't take all of the information from you. But, I mean, we've got a great opportunity for folks to get to see some top caliber golf here in Memphis.
Yeah, and you're completely right. Right now is kind of the moment to encourage people to go out while you can. We have it this year and next year, which we're obviously very thankful for. Restructurings happen. It's disappointing, but it happens. But as you mentioned, there is a lot of benefits to this. It's not new, but again, the kids that are free. So every ticket that you purchase, you get 2 free tickets for kids 15 and under. So that's like very generous. And then as you mentioned, new this year, the ticket is Ground Plus. So that comes with all of your free food and drinks. Doesn't include alcohol, but they're gonna have burgers and hot dogs and soda, chips, sides, desserts, and you have about 5 different stations around the course that you're gonna be able to go get that free food at. And there's not a limit. It's not like a one-time redemption that you can go have a lunch. You can go as many times as you want and get that free food and really get your tickets worth. But your tickets worth is going to be the competition. It's the top 70 golfers in the world that come and compete in Memphis every year. You have Tommy Fleetwood to Scotty Scheffler. I love this event. I was never a golf person. It made me a golf fan. I go every year, and you can either try and follow people in the heat if you have someone picked out in mind, or you can kind of just hang back. They have some shaded bleachers that you can just cool off and watch them as they come through. But I really, really recommend it's hole 14. They've really made that into like a fun, almost kind of party hole. So if you make a birdie, if anyone makes a birdie on that hole, the Mick Ultra prices will drop down to $5 for a Mick Ultra for 5 minutes. And it's so funny to see people just booking it to those bars to get those deals. Because, I think it might be about $12 normally. So it's a worthy discount. And they'll have the counter going down, and people definitely take advantage of the fun of that hole. But it's a good mix-up. You can be serious or you can have fun.
No, it's true. And I'm like you. Patrick Ellis and I were just talking earlier today. Like, we both have golf clubs, but they collect dust because we might play 2 or 3 times a year, and we're fair weather fans. But when golf comes to Memphis, all of a sudden it's like everyone's got a hush y'all sign. We're out at TPC Southwind. We're ready to contribute because it's such a huge economic driver for the city. So again, we've got it for 2 more years, folks. You've heard some of those package deals. All this info is on the I Love Memphis blog. We've got some info on our website, actionnews5.com. But other events we've got coming up. So I see you wanted to talk about the Speak Salvation Speak at Hattie Lou. So I love that we have events at Hattie Lou on Beale Street. This is just another great opportunity, but talk more about that.
Yeah, and I think last time I was on, we kind of chatted about how this is a really big arts and culture year in Memphis. We have a lot of big anniversaries and milestones and openings, and one of those is Hattie Lou. So Memphis is just such a rich arts scene. It's so full of creative people. So Speak Salvation Speak is going to be the first show of the 20th anniversary season for Hattie Lou Theater, and it's going to be running from August 13th through September 6th. And this is going to be an original play. It's also very cool. They're bringing in an actual kind of notable actor to lead it. It's going to be Harry Lennox, and he has credits in The Matrix and Blacklist. So he'll be the lead in the play. It's a family drama, kind of deals with kind of religion. He is a very kind of strict Pentecostal father, and his son is going to go down a different spiritual path, and that's essentially the essence of the play. But I just really, really recommend people go see a Hattie Lou play if you have not been. They do such a good job with creating that stage presence, and the seats are so close to it. It's so very intimate. You're just going to really enjoy it. If you're not a theater person, I promise you're still gonna find some value out of that. But they have 12 productions that are coming up for this 20th season, and it's going to be really a lot of exciting things. They're going to have an International Black Theater Festival this fall, and they're going to be bringing theater companies from all around the world to Memphis. So there's going to be a production from a group from Norway coming, Nigeria, South Africa to perform in Memphis as well. And then they're also doing something very cool. It's going to be kind of like a walk-through living museum where actors will interact with you. So definitely check out the 20 season. They're going to be doing a lot to work on expanding the theater as well this year. So it's a really exciting time for Hattie Lou.
Truly is. 20th season, that's crazy. It's great to see it have lasted that long and to offer an opportunity for these original plays to be a part of that. I think it's so great for local artists, but any artist who's got a play in a dream and think it'll resonate, and then you put it in a place as historic as Hattie Lou, I think is really great. And all of that you can find again on the I Love Memphis blog site. Now, speaking of expanding theater, this must have been a mistake because I see that you left out of your list the Bluey performance that's going to be at the Orpheum. But that's okay. We can talk about it. No, I'm kidding. But I saw that. And I'm like,
Bluey is overtaking the Orpheum. I think you might be able to speak better. I've not ever seen Bluey.
I mean, you don't have kids, but I've got 2 going on 3, and we're a big Bluey household. And I've not told them yet that we're going, but when I do, it's I might be Superman.
Oh, you are
I
taking the
might,
kids?
I might top Santa on the list of favorite people. So we'll see what happens. But I remember as a kid in the 90s going to the Orpheum to watch Blue's Clues at the Orpheum.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And so now it's kind of like full circle where it's like, all right, Blue's Clues, tried to make a bit of a comeback, bringing the original Steve back, but that fell through. Now this is like my kids' Blue's Clues. This is Bluey, kind of in that same realm. So it's kind of full circle. And that's the beauty of theater, is that these shows, or at least like iterations of them, continue to last, and you get to re-experience it as an adult with kids and vice versa. So I think that's the beauty
Yeah,
of
and having the
theater.
family-friendly opportunities. And I think you'll realize sitting in the crowd, like all that your parents did for us, taking us to these shows.
Oh my gosh, can you imagine? Yeah, I mean, like my mom lugged around, I'm the oldest of four, she lugged around 4 kids to go see Blue's Clues by herself, by the way. Dad was
Yeah,
at work
exactly.
at the Orpheum. So shout out mom, credit to mom. But on your list, you do have the Foodieland Food Festival. So Tiger Lane. So I'm excited for this because people are going to get to see up close and personal, like the brand spanking new Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium renovation right on the eve of football season for this food festival. So kind of a new way of experiencing Tiger Lane with all of the renovations that have happened. And that might get folks excited to purchase a ticket and go. So a lot of things happening at Tiger Lane, but most notably what you got on this list, this Foodieland Food Festival. Let's talk more about that.
Yeah, and I recently toured the stadium renovations, and I'm really
Nice.
excited about it. It looks just
It's
amazing, especially
clean.
from the outside.
It's
And then
real good.
the inside will have some really good upgrades too, and also the ability that this renovation is going to give us the opportunity to have concerts and big events in there.
Yes.
It makes the load-in process a lot easier, so that's a plus. But yeah, you'll get to see. It should be basically done because it'll be 2 weeks before the season then. But Foodieland Food Festival is a new food festival. It's going to be August 21st, 23rd again at Tiger Lane. And this is very like a new experience as a whole. It's that we haven't seen before. It's like a nationwide traveling food festivals. They do stops in other cities. And the concept is kind of like multicultural food, street food from all over. And they'll have like markets, games, live music. I've seen a lot of promotional, content on this, and it's kind of very like fun, Instagrammy, over the top food that's going to
Okay.
be served there. So like, they'll have like deep fried pizza.
Say
Like
less.
lobster rolls. It's just like a whole gambit of stuff from dessert to burrito tacos to New Orleans style oysters. It is just a little bit of everything across the country, and so that's gonna be really fun to see. And I was looking at some other content from cities that it's visited and seeing, okay, is this going to be something good? And from what I had seen, is people's experience had been a positive one. So it'll be good.
Awesome.
It's a new event to Memphis, so it'll be fun to check out. And then
Exactly.
also on our August guide this weekend is FanFest at
That's right.
the stadium, so you can
Tigers,
really
yep.
get to see the stadium up close there
Yeah,
too.
we've been pushing that, get to see the stadium. In the world of NIL and the transfer portal, 80 new players are on this Tigers roster, and it's the
Wow.
first year for Charles Huff. So there's a lot of excitement with the new stadium. With rumors of when's our next bid for a Power Four conference going to be. So hey, a lot's being pushed to the table as far as chips. The Tigers, making a bold push. So I'm excited to see how this season goes.
Absolutely.
Now I'm hungry, and I'm also a huge fan of tomatoes. So we've got this edgy tomato festival that you got. We went up to Ripley, Tennessee for their tomato festival. So it's got me kind
Oh,
of like in
fun.
this spring, summery. Look, my wife thinks I'm weird for this. I love a good tomato sandwich with just a thick slice of tomato, little mayo, salt and pepper on some white bread. That is peak summer dish for me. But we've got all these different tomato dish guides as part of this event. Hopefully tomato sandwich is one of them. But give folks more information about that. Edge District, really cool, artsy, right Sun Studio, nestled between Sun Studio, Medical District, downtown. Tomatoes. What more could you want?
Yeah, I'm like you where I love tomatoes, and my husband likes to make fun of me because I can eat it like an apple. Like I'm just used to like
Yes.
going into my mom's garden and just like chomping on a tomato.
Munch.
So this is a new event also happening, the Edgy Tomato Festival, and as you mentioned, it's going to be in the Edge District, which really is like a real source of like site of like a lot of growth. and excitement with new businesses. You know, you have Hard Times Deli over there, Jim, Bar
Yep.
Limina, and then they'll be opening up a new bar, and you have the brewery. So really excited for them. It's going to be at the intersection primarily of Marshall and Monroe, so they are going to close down the street. It's free admission, so it's an entirely like tomato themed festival combined with like a market, restaurant and bar specials, all across the Edge District. And this is organized by Edible Memphis, which is a great resource for all things food and drinks in Memphis. And it'll also be a fundraiser for them. So they're going to have a lot of exciting things to add. I'm not going to take all of their thunder. I'm just going to say stuff that they've already announced, which is they will have a tomato art contest at Ugly Art Co., which is a very cool new art gallery right next to Bar Limina and Edge District. And local artists are all submitted work to be part of this gallery. And again, they're going to have like tomato themed specials at the restaurants and bars and a ton of vendors. This is going to be a real like full activation of the Edge District. Like the Edge Motor Museum is going to have red vehicles out on the street.
Smart.
So I think it's going to be really fun. And again, this is free admission. So I'm really, really excited for this one.
Yeah, and again, folks, that is August 22nd. Jalen, we're over on time actually, but this is great. Like I've had a blast talking about this. August is a chock full month of food festivals, of concerts. We didn't even talk about Live at the Garden. You've got John Legend coming this month. So there's so much happening this month in Memphis, and I feel like I've been played with emotionally because of how good it's felt over the last couple of days weather-wise. So I don't want to get my heart sold on that forecast because, you know, you might need to bring an umbrella, some sunscreen, drink plenty of water. This is not permanent. This is not August in Mid-South as we know it. But anything else, final thoughts, any one particular event that we didn't touch on that you want to draw attention to before I let you go?
Yeah, I'll just mention going to, ilovememphisblog.com. We have that full guide. There is 25 plus events in our August event guide. And then one to check out would probably be Recess Reloaded, which essentially takes like your field day as a kid and makes it for adults. And that'll be happening on Mud Island. So definitely check that out. It's on August 29th. So scroll towards the bottom of that guide, but we're continually adding events to that and our other guides as well. So
and all
lots
over
to
the
do.
city too, because I mean you've got the Botanic Garden, you've got Liberty Park, you've got Edge District, downtown, Mud Island. I mean you get to check all these off your bingo card and get to see different parts of the city, experience different things. So a chock full month. Again, you can find all of that on the I Love Memphis blog, which is headed by none other than Jalen Suchak. Thank you for coming again, and thanks for going over. I had fun. We'll see you next week, next month. Sound good?
Or if not at the golf tournament, I'll see you then.
Or if not at the golf tournament, I'll come find you. That sounds great. All right. See you, Jalen.
Thanks, Parker.
Awesome stuff. Again, guys, chock full month. I literally had to let her go because we've got a full show ourselves. Breaking news, we've got a live press conference right now with the Shelby County Election Commission and the Shelby County Democratic Party talking about Election Day that's tomorrow. But at 10:30, we've got representatives from AFSCME coming to talk about their recent tentative agreement with Mayor Paul Young's office with regard to raises for AFSCME members, sanitation workers here in the city of Memphis. That is all coming up on the Action News 5 digital desk. A full show for you folks. And I've got tongue twisters. So while I rest my tongue from so much talking, you're going to go to break, and then we'll come back with more of your headlines leading up to our meeting with AFSCME. Stay tuned, guys. More Action News 5 digital desk after the break. All right, guys, welcome back. As I said, a chock full show for you, but we are going to get into a little bit of national news, and it's sort of the comeback of the movie theater. Spider-Man, the new Spider-Man, New Day, has hit $1 billion in 6 days at the box office. The only other one to do that is a fellow Marvel movie, Avengers Endgame. I personally paid tribute to that movie at the theaters, but it's a great thing to see this comeback after they saw, gosh, a near crippling of their industry during COVID-19. But we've got a Hollywood Minute for you just to give you a breakdown of what's coming up here in the movie theater.
I am totally out of control.
Spider-Man Brand New Day hits $1 billion. Sony says the latest superhero flick starring Tom Holland reached the worldwide box office milestone in just 6 days. The only film to gross $1 billion faster, 2019's Avengers Endgame.
That's what's next.
A new role for Viola Davis. The EGOT winner is set to star in the thriller series Ascent from Skyfall, Spectre, and Michael writer John Logan. Davis will play a top corporate fixer who will need her elite skills when her daughter is in danger. The Paramount Plus show is due to begin production next year.
He's choosing Texas, I can tell.
Fans are still choosing Texas. The Ella Langley song tops the Billboard Hot 100 for a 16th week. That's the 4th longest reign at #1 in the chart's history, which goes back to this week in 1958, 41 years before Langley was born. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
All right, guys, welcome back. As we've reported on several days now, and for weeks now in just different parts of the country, it's been severe weather, particularly in the west. It has been wildfires. In the northwest, the Old Trails fire outside of Spokane has been the more recent tragic fires that has displaced hundreds, if not thousands of people, 60,000 people having to evacuate just a few days ago. We've got our partners at CNN with a bit of an explanation on fires in the Pacific Northwest and why some things are burning and some things are not.
If you've been watching videos from the devastating Pacific Northwest fires, you've probably seen comments like these. People look at scenes where entire neighborhoods have burned down while some trees are still standing, and they wonder, if the fire was hot enough to destroy the homes, why didn't it also destroy the trees? Now, the answer is simpler than you might think. A healthy, living tree, like this one, is basically one giant column of water. It takes a huge amount of prolonged, direct heat to boil away all that internal moisture and get the wood hot enough so that it could actually ignite and then consume the trunk. You see where I'm going with this? The bark is also very much designed to protect the living tissue that is underneath it. And then some species in fire-prone areas like the Pacific Northwest and others have specifically evolved thicker bark that acts as insulation. And then there's other fire-adapted trees where the lower parts of their branches are actually shed as they grow, making it even harder for flames on the ground to go up the sides of the tree and into the canopy. Of course, there are exceptions to this. Many of the trees burning around Spokane are ponderosa pines and other kinds of pines. They have dry needles that actually act as more of fuel to a fire. Other times, there are dead or partially dead trees that can catch on fire quite quickly and sometimes spectacularly, as was the case with some of the palm trees during the LA fires. Now, a house may seem much sturdier than a tree, but from the fire's perspective, the opposite is often true. Houses are built from dry materials like lumber and plaster, and then packed with furniture and fabrics and plastic and other stuff that can burn so much faster than a tree. They also give the fire many different opportunities to actually enter through vents, doors, windows, and other little tiny openings. And once part of a house ignites, it can burn intensely for a long period of time and generate enormous amounts of heat. Which brings me to another important distinction. What scientists call a wildfire isn't always the same thing that destroys an entire neighborhood. In many of the most destructive fires, homes begin igniting other homes from those embers and strong winds, and then start a chain reaction that can spread fast from structure to structure. That's why you can wind up with one of the eeriest sights after a major fire, which is rows of homes reduced to rubble while some trees are still standing overhead. Now, the image can be misleading, but you can't compare a house full of combustible materials to a living tree that has literally evolved to survive fire.
Hey there, Mr. Maurice. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well, sir. How you doing this morning?
I'm doing well, doing well. Just wanted to confirm that we're here. We didn't forget about you. I think my friend messaged you that after this break, we're going to have a quick weather forecast and then go to break, and then we'll come out to you. So 10:30 to 2 to 10:34, something like that. But we've got to get a certain number of breaks in the show, or else the ad sponsors get upset. So
yeah, I know how it goes, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Real quick, your last name's pronounced Spivey, correct?
Yes, sir. Long Eye,
okay.
Spivey.
The Long Eye, Spivey. Perfect. All right, we're about to come out, go to weather, and then we'll be with you soon.
All right, then. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for joining us here on the Action News 5 Digital Desk. I'm First Alert meteorologist Patrick Ellis. A reminder, we have an air quality alert effect for the metro area, including Crittenden, Shelby, and DeSoto counties here because of wildfire smoke that is drifting in our direction. As we look at our First Alert Futurecast with the smoke model in play, you see the higher concentrations here as you start getting into the oranges and reds. That is working its way in our direction. So we'll start to see a little bit more haze in the skies, a little bit more of a filtered sun look as we head through the course of the day today, and that again leading to more issues with air quality. So those with breathing sensitivities and difficulties probably want to stay away from being outside for prolonged periods of time. The good news is that while we still will have some indications of smoke in play for even tomorrow, it won't be to the same concentrations as what we will see for today. So at least there is some positivity in that direction as far as that's concerned. Hot, humid, and hazy here today, but the good news is that the humidity isn't terrible. When we look at our First Alert Futurecast going through the remainder of the day, low 90s will operate like the mid 90s. So not adding too much insult to injury when it comes down to the feels like temperatures as we go through the course of the day today. 94 tomorrow as several more districts head back to classes. Bartlett, Arlington, Lakeland, Wynne, Tunica County, as well as Blytheville, all getting into low to mid 90s. Factor in the humidity levels, it's probably going to crest closer to about 105 or so, or 100 to 105 in a couple of spots here as we head through the afternoon hours on your Thursday. Chance for a couple of isolated showers, rumbles of thunder could be on the way by Friday. 94 the high temperature. Here's a look at our First Alert Futurecast. Starting off on a quiet note here. Not much going on. Sunshine. There will be some showers and storms that could be ongoing up closer to the Missouri-Arkansas border, drifting down towards the south and east as we head through the mid to late morning hours. So places like Blytheville over towards Harrisburg, Wynne might be able to see a shower or two during the course of the mid-morning hours. Out ahead of it, a couple more spotty downpours developing during the course of the late morning, early afternoon hours. That will be on a basis that will be widely spaced. So many spots will likely stay dry during the course of the afternoon and early evening. Now, there could be another opportunity for rain and storms that comes in here by the time we head towards your Saturday. We'll be watching that closely because that could have another implication for some widely spaced showers and storms. Not everybody finding themselves getting wet during that time frame, but at least a chance for a few showers and storms during the course of the afternoon and early evening hours on Saturday. Then the heat and humidity become more pressing here. We head into early next week. A lot of spots will be seeing temperatures at or above average for this time of the year. The average high 92. We will start the process in the next week or so of being on the downward slope on temperatures. The average highs will start to come down. The average lows start to come down. We're getting closer to that time frame of the year where we start to go on the backside of the year. But right now, still at a plateau, and it really doesn't change all that much. You can kind of see how that plays out with the extended forecast because there's not a lot of change with the highs and lows. In the lower to middle 90s each day, overnights middle to upper 70s, and some spots feels like temperatures as we head towards early next week are going to be quite toasty. Look ahead to next Tuesday, 94 the forecast high, but when you factor in the humidity levels, it's going to be cresting closer to 105 to 115 in some parts of the region. There is a inkling of a front moving towards the region by Wednesday into Thursday. Might reset us a little bit. We'll see how it plays out, but still a little too far out to get too much in the way of specifics. In the meantime, though, hot, humid, hazy here today. A chance for a couple of showers and storms to head into parts of the weekend, but not a complete washout on Friday or Saturday.
All right, sir. Short break. Got a 1-minute break, and then we're coming out to you.
All right, then. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Perfect that we already had this set up, and then yesterday they came to you with a tentative agreement. So I text Selena. I don't know if you talk with her directly because she's out of, I believe, Atlanta. And I was like, we still on for Wednesday? And she's like, oh, yeah, we're still on for Wednesday. I'm like, good.
Yeah, I thought we were going to do it Monday. But, you know, they got pulled at the last minute. So
originally I got pulled is what happened, is we were doing back to school coverage for MSCS and DeSoto County, and they sent me down to DeSoto County and took me out of the studio, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to be there Monday. So it was like I got pulled, so they got pulled because I wanted to do this. But anyway, we've got a lot to talk about. We are 10 seconds out, and then we're coming. Here we go.
Okay.
Folks, welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. As we've been reporting, there's a tentative agreement now between the City of Memphis, Mayor Paul Young's office, and AFSCME Local 1733. That is the local sanitation workers union here in Memphis, which, as many who've been here long enough know, has a rich history here in the city going back to the 60s with the I Am a Man protests, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And I'm joined now by senior rep from the local AFSCME chapter, Local 1733. We are joined by Maurice Spivey, who is here to comment on the tentative agreement we have now with the City of Memphis. I first want to ask you, sir, sort of where this all started, because I remember when the City of Memphis budget was approved back in late June. There was a note in there that the City Council had rejected an original 5% raise for sanitation workers. They instead opted for, I believe it was a $2,000 bonus for sanitation workers. Was that where this all started, that the City Council had decided to do away with the proposed 5% raise and opted for the bonus? Is that where this all started?
In a roundabout way, but it started when Mayor Paul Young sent over his wage survey that showed some of our members were making as much as 14% under market value. And so that is where we sort of started our negotiating points way back in February when we got the report from Mayor Young. And so we began to strategize around that. And so coming into June, we were very, very disappointed with the results of the City Council, their vote, but we didn't stop. And so we continued to pressure the mayor and pressure the City Council to get to this tentative agreement that we reached.
And so the tentative agreement that we reached is that $22 an hour will be the base rate. Anyone below that will be brought up to $22 an hour, which is would be a welcome change, I would imagine, for those who've been making under 14% below the market value, as you said, with that survey. Was that a compromise? Did you want more, or are you satisfied with $22 an hour with where we are at this point tentatively?
It's not a compromise. When you look at those members who were making $16 and $17, $18 an hour, who dedicated 25, 30, or 40 years of service to the city, we counted it as a victory for them. And then we looked at, what is going to be the base pay for ASME city workers. And so we, looked at all the numbers, the new wage and labor income studies that are coming out on the federal level, where they say that right now $53,000 a year is considered low wages. We knew we couldn't get it up to there, but we had to set a new base of $22 an hour for all city employees represented by ASME.
I'm glad that your folks see it as a victory. And so, again, this is only a tentative agreement. If approved, it would go into effect October 1st. What do those next steps look like? We've got less than 2 months before that October 1st effect date. And so we need to get City Council to, I say we, the royal we, you would ask me, need to get City Council on board, or at least a majority. What do the next roughly 2 months look like in terms of convincing them to push this tentative agreement forward?
Well, we're going to be doing a lot of community engagement. We're going to bring a lot of our community partners to bear to pressure the City Council to go ahead with the tentative agreement that the union and the Young administration have agreed upon. So we're going to be calling on our COGIC partners, our partners over at the National Civil Rights Museum. We're going to be calling on a lot of partners to help us convince the City Council that this is the right thing to do, and to make them recognize that for the men and women who make this city run, who make sure the streets are clean, make sure the trash is picked up, make sure the streets are paved, make sure that this city absolutely functions, get the pay that they deserve for this budget year. They can't wait. Our people are already falling through the cracks. They're already applying for food stamps. They're already facing repossessions and garnishment. So that is what we're facing, and we need to make City Council uniquely and keenly aware of the economic circumstances our people are facing right now.
If this is pushed through, I feel like every industry in its own right has problems with turnover. Would this allow ASME members to be able to recruit more sanitation workers to the city of Memphis, better the services, better pay, you get better people? And so what would this mean if this is pushed forward in terms of future endeavors for sanitation workers, specific members for ASME here in the city of Memphis?
Well, not necessarily, because we've gotten pay raises in the past.
Sure.
And they've continued to fire our people at a higher rate because the part of this campaign was also about respect Local 1733. The men and women are already underpaid. They are woefully disrespected, written up at a much higher rate, terminated at a much higher rate than any other employees in the city. And hopefully we can be able to recruit the people, because like you say, better pay, better people. But that doesn't necessarily change the mentality of management.
Sure.
They still have a very, very negative attitude towards the men and women who make this city run and make the city work. And so we fight like there's no tomorrow to keep our men and women, on the city payroll. But, the turnover rate, the termination rate still remains uncomfortably too high in most of the classifications that we represent.
Certainly. And so, like you said, fighting the good fight like there's no tomorrow, because as we've reported, this is still just a tentative agreement. It still needs the City Council approval. As you get into this community engagement you talk about with National Civil Rights Museum, with your COGIC partners, how confident are you that it will eventually be approved by the City Council and go into effect October 1st? How confident are you?
I'm like I say, I'm not confident because we can't control the results.
Sure.
All we can control is doing the hard work. We are going to do the lobbying effort. We're going to reach out. We're going to bring our community partners in. We're going to ask individual citizens and the constituents out there to get in contact with your city councilman, to make them, vote the right way when we present them with this TA. The money is there. The mayor's going to find the money. He's already committed himself to that. And so with that major part of it being done, City Council needs to go ahead and approve these pay raises for the men and women who make the city run. I never go into anything confident or thinking that it's already a done deal. When you're dealing with, politics and politicians, you know, a lot of times they can say one thing and do another, but we won't know it's done until it's done.
Well, we'll certainly be covering it as this develops over the next month or so as we get toward that October 1st date. Anything else you'd like to add, sir, before I let you go?
Yeah, I want to thank everybody for supporting us in this effort. I know we had a lot of billboards. We've had a lot of news coverage and the media blitz going on. We appreciate the support. I want to thank the men and women who go to work every day. Like I said, 35, 40, 54 years of service in the for Mr. Jack Walker, the son of Mr. Walker, who was killed in the back of a garbage truck. He got hired on in 1974. He's still on the clock to this day, still being disrespected and mistreated in so many ways. So that's the legacy that we try to respect and try to bring to light. And also, like I said, I want to thank the people, the constituents, and those people who have been calling the mayor. Attorney Jay Bailey played an instrumental part in convincing the mayor to go ahead and agree with what we were asking for, and also make the mayor a partner. I want to thank, Paul Young for having an epiphanal moment and sort of seeing where we were coming from. I want to thank his senior administrative staff. They all, rolled their sleeves up, and we got this thing done. So I want to thank them. I also want to thank the media for, like I say, giving us the type of coverage to convince the mayor and his administration that we're on the right track right now. So
again, an important group, a historic group, a union group here in the city of Memphis, and so like you said, I mean, when AFSCME members stop working, the people start to notice, and so it's important to make sure that this stuff gets covered. Maurice Spivey, Senior Representative for AFSCME Local 1733. Thanks for coming on again. We'll be on the lookout for as this situation develops. Really appreciate it, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, no, again, we had that set up before that tentative agreement with Paul Young, just to get a better understanding of what they were asking for. And then, of course, yesterday, if you've been following us, they reached the agreement with Paul Young's office for that $22 an hour base rate, and so for AFSCME members. So we'll be on the lookout for as this situation develops, guys, as well as several other situations that I have on my screen. We're going to go to a short break, and then we're going to cut in live and let you know what we're working with here. A lot happening on the Action News 5 digital desk, getting into Action News 5 at midday. We'll be right back after this break. Welcome back, guys. As I talked about, we've got a live press conference happening right now, and it's one of the headlines that we had mentioned at the top of the 9 o'clock hour for the Action News 5 digital desk. What you're looking at now is a press conference. It's sort of a joint operation between the Shelby County Democratic Party and the local NAACP chapter. They're teaming up following several reports of voter machine glitches. We talked about one of them during absentee ballot submissions, how there was a couple of judicial races left off of a ballot that impacted 700 ballots. Supplemental ballots were sent via mail to those ballots affected. However, over the weekend, toward the end of early voting, you had a particular voting machine at a Bartlett early voting precinct that had left off a few early voting elections. And so it impacted 400 votes, but some of these judicial races can come down to the wire, and so every vote counts this election season. So we're going to cut in live to this, again, joint press conference with the Shelby County Democratic Party, the NAACP. They are teaming up, voicing their concerns about election integrity, Let's tune in now and see what they have to say.
Okay, but someone will be here in person by 8:30 to 5 o'clock. If we have to stay, we will stay.
Amen.
It's no problem. We have volunteers that can handle these situations, just like Brethren is here as a volunteer, and I welcome him to come. Thank you.
Will there be a follow-up press conference, or does that all depend on what the Shelby County election committee does?
I'm certain there will probably be.
There will probably be a debrief, and we talk about some of the things that are lingering. I think that's an opportunity to do that. The other piece to that is, I will like to say that the 2 election commissioners that are assigned to us, we're in constant contact with them. They're very responsive, and so we will basically I'll call them all day long. And so we have an open dialogue all day to make sure things are happening. So we'll have live and updated information about what's happening as it happens. So we'll be doing that.
Just like the judge and the magistrate were saying, you can call the campaign. The election commission number, I guess I can give that out, is 222-1200. They will be open. And if they're not open, you can call anybody you know that's associated with these campaigns. You can call this lady right here. She takes all calls. She will they got her phone number. I put it on Facebook. They know Vicky. They know Patrice Robinson. They know me. Whether you can vote or not, you're still a part of the process. 222-1200. And I will assist the NAACP. I can't be here at 7.
Why not?
I cannot be here at 7. Not because I'll be in the bed. I'll be with several campaigns. But I can assure you, if you call these campaigns, I see the press laughing. I can't be here at 7, and I'm going to keep that confidential because I have to be with other campaigns. We'll be up all night.
Okay.
This is critical. The thing that I'm seeing the most, and I think both the judge and the magistrate said it, people, when they go in, and they both said it, when they were calling me, they don't feel like they have any hope. And they're like, I'm seeing this, you said it well. Again and again and again. When is it going to stop? This is one election. But now we're seeing it that it's becoming habitual. The first time you put your finger on the fire, that may be accidental or negligent. The second time you put it on there, that was intentional.
Okay.
Well said.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
All right.
We're
Go
gonna
out
take a
and
group
vote.
picture, y'all.
Okay.
Let's do it. Okay, we want you in it now.
I'm gonna do a selfie.
Okay, good. Okay, good.
Oh yeah, she know how to do it.
So it looks like things are wrapping up. Again, a lot of the concern has been surrounding not one but 2 instances of certain races being left off of ballots for this upcoming August election. If this is all news to you, tomorrow is election day. And if you're a Tennessee resident, if you're a Shelby County resident, you got a lot of items on your ballot, whether we're talking about Memphis proper, where you have congressional primaries, Shelby County getting divvied up into, it looks like we're done. So what I'm going to do is come back to me. All right, quick and easy. So you did hear the frustration there, and I'm not going to say it's justified. It is odd that certain races, not once but twice, were left off of a ballot. Nevertheless, it appears the Shelby County Election Commission is aware, providing supplemental ballots for those who have raised concern. So, nevertheless, as we've reported, that when these judicial races get down to the wire, every vote counts. And so if you talk about a couple of hundred people, that could mean the difference between victory and defeat for some of these candidates. So this is my soapbox to tell you to do your civic duty. Vote tomorrow if you didn't vote early. 90,000 of you have voted early. That is a record. Nevertheless, there are over 600,000 of you registered to vote in Shelby County. So 500,000 of you still haven't voted. You gonna? I hope you do. A lot of important stuff. Governor, county mayor, sheriff, all this turmoil about 201 Poplar. It's the time for a changing of the guard. Who's to say? The voters. I hope all of you, but it probably won't be more than 50% turnout. Prove me wrong, Shelby County. prove me wrong. I'll get off that soapbox real quick and I'll go to break. We'll get a final look at weather, guys, and then we'll get ready for Action News 5 at midday. Stay with us.
As far as that's concerned. Hot, humid, and hazy here today, but the good news is that the humidity isn't terrible. When we look at our first alert futurecast going through the remainder of the day, low 90s will operate like the mid 90s, so not adding too much insult to injury when it comes down to the feels like temperatures as we go through the course of the day today. 94 tomorrow as several more districts head back to classes. Bartlett, Arlington, Lakeland, Wynne, Tunica County, as well as Blytheville, all getting into low to mid 90s. Factor in the humidity levels, it's probably going to crest closer to about 105 or so, or 100 to 105 in a couple of spots here as we head through the afternoon hours on your Thursday. Chance for a couple of isolated showers. Rumbles of thunder could be on the way by Friday. 94 the high temperature. Here's a look at our first alert futurecast. Starting off on a quiet note here. Not much going on. Sunshine. There will be some showers and storms that could be ongoing up closer to the Missouri-Arkansas border, drifting down towards the south and east as we head through the mid to late morning hours. So places like Blytheville over towards Harrisburg, Wynne might be able to see a shower or two during the course of the mid-morning hours. Out ahead of it, a couple more spotty downpours developing during the course of the late morning, early afternoon hours that will be on a basis that will be widely spaced. So many spots will likely stay dry during the course of the afternoon and early evening. Now, there could be another opportunity for rain and storms that comes in here by the time we head towards your Saturday. We'll be watching that closely because that could have another implication for some widely spaced showers and storms. Not everybody finding themselves getting wet during that time frame, but at least a chance for a few showers and storms during the course of the afternoon and early evening hours on Saturday. Then the heat and humidity become more pressing here. We head into early next week. A lot of spots will be seeing temperatures at or above average for this time of the year. The average high 92. We will start the process in the next week or so of being on the downward slope on temperatures. The average highs will start to come down. The average lows start to come down. We're getting closer to that time frame of the year where we start to go on the backside of the year. But right now, still at a plateau, and it really doesn't change all that much. You can kind of see how that plays out with the extended forecast because there's not a lot of change with the highs and lows. In lower to middle 90s each day, overnights middle to upper 70s, and some spots feels like temperatures as we head towards early next week are going to be quite toasty. Look ahead to next Tuesday, 94 the forecast high, but when you factor in the humidity levels, it's going to be cresting closer to 105 to 115 in some parts of the region. There is a inkling of a front moving towards the region by Wednesday into Thursday. Might reset us a little bit. We'll see how it plays out, but still a little too far out to get too much in the way of specifics. In the meantime, though, hot, humid, hazy here today. A chance for a couple of showers and storms to head into parts of the weekend, but not a complete washout on Friday or Saturday.